Ikin, a 22-year-old from a rural village in southeastern Nigeria, struggles under the weight of poverty. His father has long passed, leaving his mother and younger siblings to survive on the meager income from their small farm. Despite his hard work, the harvest is barely enough to feed his family. Each passing day is a constant reminder of their suffering, and Ikin is determined to break free from the chains of hardship. Ikin wrestles with his decision to leave home in search of a better life. His mother tries to dissuade him, fearing the dangers that await him in the city. Yet, the pressure of seeing his family starve weighs heavier than his fear of the unknown. Ikin gathers his meager belongings and sets off on a journey, not knowing where it will lead but holding on to a glimmer of hope for a better future. The road to the city is long and filled with challenges. Ikin treks through villages, meeting other travelers who share tales of both fortune and despair. As he gets closer to the city, his excitement is mixed with anxiety. What if he fails? The sight of skyscrapers and the bustling streets of Lagos both intimidates and inspires him. This is the world he has to conquer if he is to succeed. Upon arrival in Lagos, Ikin is confronted with the brutal realities of city life. The city is not the land of opportunity he envisioned but a jungle of survival. Unable to afford decent housing, he finds refuge in a slum, sharing space with other young men who have also left their villages in search of a better life. The glamour of Lagos fades quickly, replaced by hunger and uncertainty. Days pass, and Ikin struggles to find work. The streets are filled with thousands like him, each hoping to catch a break. He takes on odd jobs, cleaning, carrying goods, anything that will earn him a few naira. But the money is never enough. With each passing day, his dream of making a better life for himself and his family seems to slip further away. Hunger gnaws at Ikin as his meager earnings cannot keep up with the rising cost of food. He often goes without meals, sending what little he has to his family back home. His desperation grows, and for the first time, he contemplates returning to the village defeated. But pride keeps him going. He cannot return a failure. Ikin meets Sei, a fellow villager who has been living in the city for years. Sei takes pity on him and offers him shelter in exchange for helping with his small business. Sei runs a street food store, and Ikin, eager for any opportunity, starts helping out. Though the pay is little, it's a step towards stability. Ikin learns the ropes of city hustling from Sei and begins to find his footing. With Sei's mentorship, Ikin starts to save a small amount of money, something he hadn't been able to do since arriving in Lagos. He dreams of starting his own business one day, but for now, he focuses on surviving. His mother's letters from the village motivate him to keep going, reminding him of the family he left behind. As Ikin becomes more familiar with city life, he encounters young men who have made their fortunes through illicit means. They flaunt their wealth, wearing expensive clothes and driving flashy cars. They encourage him to join their ranks, promising quick money and an escape from poverty. Ikin is tempted but remembers the values instilled in him by his mother. He knows the dangers that come with the fast life. Despite his resolve, desperation leads Ikin into a compromising situation. He is approached by a group of men involved in illegal activities, offering him easy money to act as a courier. For a moment, he considers it, but a close call with the law serves as a wake-up call. He realizes that one wrong move could destroy everything, and he withdraws from their offer, vowing to make an honest living. Just as Ikin is about to lose hope again, he hears about a job opening at a small construction company. The work is hard, but it's steady, and for the first time since arriving in the city, Ikin feels like he's making progress. His savings grow, albeit slowly, and he starts to believe that he might actually have a future in Lagos. As Ikin's life begins to improve, he cannot shake the guilt of leaving his family behind. He knows they are still struggling back in the village, and his occasional remittances are not enough. His mother writes letters expressing her pride in him, but Ikin feels that he hasn't done enough. The weight of his responsibility to them hangs over him like a shadow. Just when things seem to be going well, disaster strikes. The construction company where Ikin works suddenly shuts down due to financial mismanagement. Ikin is once again unemployed, and his savings are quickly drained. He is back to square one, filled with frustration and hopelessness. The streets of Lagos now seem even more unforgiving. Sei encourages Ikin to network more, teaching him that in the city, who you know can be just as important as what you know. Ikin starts attending local gatherings and meeting people from various walks of life. Slowly but surely, he starts building connections that could lead to better opportunities. One day, while working a temporary job as a cleaner at a corporate office, Ikin meets a kind-hearted executive named Mr. Ode. Impressed by Ikin's work ethic, Mr. Ode offers him a job as an office assistant. It's not much, but it's a stable position with room for growth. Ikin feels a sense of renewed hope. As an office assistant, Ikin throws himself into his work. He is diligent, punctual, and eager to learn. His superiors take notice of his dedication, and he begins to rise through the ranks. He saves up enough to rent a small apartment and even sends more money home to his family. For the first time since leaving home, Ikin feels like he is on the path to success. Ikin finally has enough money to invite his mother and siblings to Lagos for a visit. Seeing them fills him with pride, but it also reignites his desire to do even more for them. His mother marvels at how far he has come, and Ikin promises that their days of hardship will soon be over. Though Ikin is doing well at work, he begins to realize that success comes with a price. The long hours, the pressure to outperform, and the constant worry about his family back home start to take a toll on him. He feels stretched thin, trying to balance his personal ambitions with his responsibilities. As Ikin climbs the corporate ladder, he notices the growing divide between himself and his old friends, like Sei, who are still struggling. He starts to feel a sense of superiority and even entertains ideas of cutting ties with them. The city has hardened him, and the temptations of greed start to cloud his judgment. One day, Ikin witnesses a tragic accident that shakes him to his core. It reminds him of the fragility of life and the values he was raised with. He reflects on the man he is becoming and decides to ground himself in humility, remembering that his success is meant to uplift his family and community, not just himself. With his newfound perspective, Ikin decides to give back to those in need. He starts a small initiative to provide food and basic supplies to the homeless in his community, many of whom are people like him who came to the city seeking a better life but were swallowed by its harsh realities. This act of kindness gives him a renewed sense of purpose. Sei, Ikin's old friend, falls into hard times. Unable to cope with the pressures of city life, he turns to vices and loses his business. Ikin is faced with a choice: help his friend, or distance himself to protect his own progress. Remembering the bond they shared, Ikin steps in to help Sei get back on his feet, offering him both financial and emotional support. After helping Sei, Ikin realizes the power of community and decides to take a risk. He uses his savings to start a small business focused on providing affordable goods to low-income communities. It's a risky venture, but one that has the potential to uplift others while also providing him with a steady income. Ikin's business begins to take off. His dedication to providing quality goods at reasonable prices earns him a loyal customer base. With each passing month, his profits grow, and he starts to see the fruits of his labor. He can now send even more money home, and for the first time in years, his family's situation improves significantly. Word of Ikin's success spreads back to his village, and the community begins to look to him as a source of hope. They start asking him for advice and financial assistance, and while Ikin wants to help, he realizes that he cannot solve everyone's problems. He struggles with how to manage these new expectations while keeping his own goals in mind. Ikin decides to return to the village for the first time since leaving. The journey home is emotional, and he is welcomed as a hero. But seeing the same poverty and struggles that drove him away reminds him of the work that still needs to be done. He vows to use his success to create opportunities for others in his community. Ikin begins to think bigger. He dreams of expanding his business to other regions and creating employment opportunities for people in both the city and the village. With careful planning and strategic partnerships, he begins to lay the foundation for a larger enterprise that will benefit many. However, expansion is not without its challenges. Ikin faces difficulties securing funding and managing the logistics of growing his business. There are moments when he feels overwhelmed, but his determination and the support of his family keep him going. He learns valuable lessons about leadership and perseverance. Just as his business is gaining momentum, a financial setback threatens to derail everything. A major deal falls through, leaving Ikin scrambling to keep the business afloat. It's a moment of crisis, but instead of giving up, he doubles down, working harder than ever to find a solution. His resilience is tested, but he refuses to let this be the end. After overcoming the latest obstacle, Ikin's business begins to thrive again. He has learned many lessons along the way about perseverance, humility, and the importance of community. His family is no longer in poverty, and he has created opportunities for others to rise as well. As he reflects on his journey, Ikin realizes that his true success lies not just in what he has achieved, but in the legacy he is building for future generations. As Ikin's business continues to grow, he entrusts some of his closest allies with key responsibilities. However, not everyone has his best interest at heart. One of his trusted employees is caught siphoning money from the business. The betrayal cuts deep, and Ikin struggles with how to handle the situation. While his instinct is to forgive, he knows he must protect his business and make an example to prevent future disloyalty. Ikin is offered a lucrative business deal that could skyrocket his company to the next level. However, the deal involves cutting corners and bribing local officials. Faced with the decision to compromise his morals for profit, Ikin reflects on his journey and the values he holds dear. Ultimately, he decides to walk away from the deal, knowing that true success cannot be built on a foundation of dishonesty. Ikin's success has brought financial stability, but it comes at a cost. The long hours and constant pressure to grow his business have strained his relationships with his family. His mother reminds him that while financial success is important, family is irreplaceable. Ikin reevaluates his priorities, realizing that he must balance his ambitions with time for the people who matter most. In the midst of his busy life, Ikin meets Chinyere, a woman who shares his passion for community development. Their relationship blossoms, and for the first time in years, Ikin finds himself thinking about building a family of his own. Chinyere supports his vision, but also challenges him to slow down and appreciate the simpler things in life. Together, they envision a future where they not only grow their businesses but also invest in the next generation. Ikin begins to reflect on how far he has come and realizes the importance of giving back in more ways than financial support. He starts a mentorship program for young people from the village and the city, sharing his journey and the lessons he has learned. The program becomes a success, inspiring others to believe in themselves and follow a path of honesty, hard work, and perseverance. Thanks to Ikin's mentorship program and business initiatives, his home village starts to thrive. He invests in local infrastructure, helps farmers adopt better techniques, and sponsors education for children who, like him, had dreams beyond their village. The transformation is slow but steady, and Ikin feels proud to see his community rising from the ashes of poverty, just as he did. As Ikin's business expands, a new competitor emerges, offering similar products at lower prices. This creates tension in the market, and Ikin's business begins to feel the strain. Rather than seeing the competition as a threat, Ikin decides to focus on innovation and customer satisfaction, realizing that his values and commitment to quality will sustain his business in the long run. After years of pushing himself to the limit, Ikin falls seriously ill. His workaholic lifestyle has taken a toll on his health, forcing him to step back and reevaluate his choices. During his recovery, Ikin learns the importance of self-care and delegation. He appoints trusted managers to run his business while he focuses on his health, marking the beginning of a new chapter where he no longer has to carry the weight of everything on his own. With his health in check, Ikin realizes the importance of trusting others to manage parts of his business. He begins to delegate more responsibilities, allowing his managers to handle day-to-day operations. This shift not only gives Ikin the time to focus on larger strategic decisions but also empowers his employees, helping them grow into leadership roles.